What's up, guys? Zexon, and I'm back with gameplays. And believe it or not, this was actually my first gameplay back. I'm surprised that I was gone for 4 weeks from playing COD, and this was the first thing I got. Yeah, so I'm back with gameplays. No more vlogs for the time being. I think I might do the weekly rant as a vlog. I think that'll just be something that I'll do. I'm not sure yet. But anyways, my topic for today is my thoughts on how on trying to end kind of an endless cycle of poorness, I guess, is the best way to put it, and ignorance and things like that. I'm not trying, keep in mind, I'm not trying to be offensive or rude to people when I say this, but it's really sad to me when people get pregnant when they're like 15, and then their kids are ignorant and they don't have good role models, and then their kids get pregnant when they're 15 and shit like that. And that's an endless cycle that goes on in poor areas in the country. And I'm not trying to be racist or anything like that, so I know people's minds are instantly going to be like, oh, you're a racist. But no, that's not what I'm trying to do. It can be anyone, and it's because at my school especially, I've seen people, girls getting pregnant when they're still in high school, and these are usually pretty stupid girls, and it's a sad thing for me because it kind of pisses me off because I don't like stupid people. I don't like ignorance. And it's sad at the same time where I feel bad for these people and I feel bad for their kids because their kids will not have good role models because these people that usually get pregnant when they're still teenagers, they're usually not the best people to look up to. And then their kids are, the only people they have to look up to are people that got pregnant when they were kids because that's what their parents were like. And so that's what I'm going to talk about. I think that I honestly think it should be illegal for people under 18 to have children. And the reason for this is because I know it's against, like, some human rights and things like that, and people should be allowed to have kids whenever the fuck they want to. I don't believe that. I think you should only be allowed to have kids when you're financially stable and you can take care of them. My parents, they decided not to have kids until they both had good jobs and they were both making money and were able to support a family, and then they decided to have kids, and look where I am. I have my family has money, we are in a good financial position, and we can afford college and all sorts of things, and I have a better life for it. But there's a lot of people out there that they'll go ahead and have sex in high school, and then they'll get pregnant, and they can't even afford to take care of themselves a lot of the time. Their parents, usually the people that get in this position, their parents aren't really taking care of them, and then they can't take care of themselves, and then they go ahead and have kids, and they can't take care of the kids, and then they just expect the government to do it. And I think that that's wrong to rely on the government to take care of your kids. You should not have kids until you're financially stable. And I'm sorry if you want to have sex when you're 14, but you honestly shouldn't have sex if you can't take care of a kid. I'm not planning on having sex until I'm able to take care of a kid. Or, that's just my personal opinions. I don't think people should be making those choices when they aren't in a good enough position to actually do it in a smart way. Because it's actually starting those kids off in a bad position. They're not thinking about the kids that they're going to have. They're thinking about, oh, well, I want to have sex, so I'm going to fucking have sex. So, Exon, shut the fuck up. That's the way they think of it. And it's not that. Think about the kid that has to deal with a parent that is 12 years older than them, or 13, 14, 15 years older than them. Think about that. Think about when you're 15 and your mom's only 30, and you're like, wow, Mom, you got pregnant when you're 15. That's, wow, okay. I mean, think about that. Think about how bad of a role model you are for what your kid will have to look up to. And then a lot of times these kids that are born into these families where the parents aren't very good role models, they grow up and be bad role models themselves, and it's an endless cycle of people making bad mistakes in life. And I think the best way to fix it is to have a drastic end to people having kids when they're still kids. Kids should not have kids. That's just a simple thing. I mean, an example, honestly, would be Bristol Palin, I think, is what her name is. yes, her mom was a governor and she was rich and she could take care of a family, but imagine if the combination of her parents' money put together, both their jobs, was only like 50,000, and they could barely take care of the family in the first place. And then Bristol goes and gets pregnant and shit, and now they have to take care of another kid. It's an endless cycle of bad financial positions, because if you have a child when you're in a bad position, that child is more likely to have another child in a bad financial position because they didn't have a role model that told them that that's a bad idea. And basically what I'm saying is I just think the best way to end that is to make it illegal for people to have kids when they're still kids. Um, and that's kind of like I guess that's a really personal belief, and that's almost Republican, because a lot of Republicans are against sex until you're married. I think people should be allowed to have sex whenever they want to, unless as long as they're willing to take care of a kid and they're in the financial to do it position to do it. So if a kid is a millionaire, so like if a kid is a teen star and they're in movies and shit and they're a millionaire, they can go ahead and have a kid. They can take care of a kid because they have the money to do it. But when you don't even have a job and you're in high school, you should not have a kid. And I think the best way to do that would actually to be if you have a kid when you're under 18 or something like that, you could be arrested or something like that, or something, or you, and that would cost the taxpayers a lot of money putting a lot of kids in jail. But I don't know how else to end it other than to stop people from having kids. Like I'm talking about young people having kids, because you're putting everyone in a worse position. Keep in mind, I think a lot of people are thinking I'm kind of being an asshole by saying people shouldn't be allowed to have kids when they can't take care of them. But it's a really logical thought process there, and I'm thinking I'm thinking about the kids and their future and how they need to have support from a strong adult that has a good financial position. And if they don't have that, then their life is not going to be as it's not going to be as good. And I'm just trying to. It's kind of almost selfless for me to say it's not completely, but I'm thinking about the other people involved, not just the people having sex. I'm thinking about how it can affect the children and how their lives could be much better if they weren't born when their mom was 15. I hope I don't sound like a complete asshole by saying people should be arrested for having kids when they're too young, but it's really an act of maturity also, in my opinion, that if I don't know. I know this was kind of a big commentary topic for me to be back on, but these are just my personal beliefs, and hopefully you guys will be able to actually think about what I'm saying and then actually form your own opinions that can not be so hateful, because usually people don't listen to my commentaries. They instantly think like, oh, okay, I hate this person. They don't actually think about the content that I'm talking about and what I'm trying to get across. They just think about the words I'm saying and how they dislike them or whatever. This kid fucking is an idiot. You never go back. If someone shoots at you, you never go back. You don't try and chase them, because that's exactly what happens. And then I think I actually end this. I almost get killed by this guy. Look at that. Oh, he would have killed my ass. But anyways, guys, bye.